Hey guys, welcome back to the Kind of an Expert podcast, the only podcast where the guest picks the topic of every single episode. My name is Corey Tyndall, and as always, I'm your host. And this week, I sat down with New York City comedian Ballew to talk about getting old. Even though we are both in our 20s, I feel like we're both pretty accomplished at it. I get stomach ulcers, he gets gout. Honestly, it was a really fun conversation, just complaining about all the old shit that's happening to us in our decaying bodies. So I think a lot of people will relate to this, and I'm sorry if you do, but it's a fun episode. Follow him at Ballew on Instagram, and as always, follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media. That's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that you can find comedians. I'm there. And if you're in New York City, come to Open Comedy Show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. With that, let's get into the episode. I'm kind of glad that you weren't thinking about drinking.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when they first walk in, they see the bar, and I know it crosses their mind, and it is like, there are sometimes, especially if I record on like a Friday, it's like, oh, I hope they want to drink.
If it was a Friday and you offered me a beer, which you did, I would have been like, yeah.
I'm always going to offer it, but on a Tuesday, but today specifically, I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't take the beer. And it's not because I've like been too hungover this week. It's that the 1 year anniversary show is Thursday.
And you're going to be drinking that
We got
time.
a bunch of friends coming, and it's like, we were talking about popping a champagne bottle at the thing, and like, they're definitely going to be shots. The bartenders, and I'm like, oh man, I really gotta prepare my body.
Save it all for that day.
Save it all up, yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's not like a heroin overdose where you stop doing it for a while, and then your body forgets how to process it.
When was the last time you drank? Saturday?
Oh man, it's actually been a minute. I think I had a couple of drinks on last Thursday, and that was the last.
Wow.
That was the last time. You know what it is I've had kind of a light run of shows. I've only had a couple of shows.
So you're not like out hanging and stuff.
I'm not out hanging. I don't really drink too much by myself. Thank God.
Yeah,
it's got to be like a special occasion. Like,
I don't have booze at my apartment because I don't drink by myself. But if I had booze at my apartment, I would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like during COVID, dude, I mean, COVID, I felt like you were allowed to. Mm-hmm. You know, I would like make my own maraschino cherries and make like old fashions and stuff. Yeah.
I remember we had time for that. God damn, dude, I miss it.
I think about that sometimes. I'm like, God, it was kind of nice, wasn't it?
That is what suburban dads do all the time. I was just texting my buddy today. He's like, oh man, I've gained like 15 pounds since the last time you were here. And he's
that's
like,
it? Okay.
Good thing my hobbies are making ice cream and baking. Otherwise, this would be a problem.
Making ice cream.
He makes his own ice cream. I was like, dude, you're really setting you got to make a hobby that's like lifting weights or like.
That's way less fun, dude.
Well, it is way less fun.
Do you
that's
go
my
to the
point.
gym often?
No, I don't. I don't like the gym.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Do you exercise?
There's rules. I do.
I
run outside.
Oh, you're a runner. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll run. I got like a couple of like little weight things in the closet that I'll just do over here. But like the gym weirds me out, man. And I don't even get the like, oh, I'm not in good enough shape to be here. It's just like, what are the rules of the machines?
yeah,
what is
totally.
It? How do I not piss people off? I have no idea. So
yeah, well, I go to
going.
Planet Fitness, and the good thing about going to Planet Fitness is I am in the top percentile. You know what I mean? So I look at Planet Fitness, and I'll be kind of scouting out a machine, and then someone will sit down, and I'll do every other part of my workout, and they're still just on their phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's the type of people you deal with at Planet Fitness.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like, in my head, the tone setter a little bit.
Okay. I gotcha. Yeah. I know I'm not that guy. So that's nice. But like, maybe I should just get over it and go lift real weights.
It sucks. I did run a lot. I used to run in college, and then during COVID, I ran a lot.
No shit. Track or cross country?
Oh, just like running. Just like abstractly running for the sake of running.
Late to class type of running.
Yeah. And this kind of bleeds into what we were talking about. I can't run anymore
Oh.
Because as I was saying, I've had gout and stuff,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And I also had other issues in my feet from when I ran from college.
Okay.
But, like, I always injure my foot when I run, and I went to the doctor. And because I've had gout and I get it in my toe, in the joints of my toes, and because I had it so many times, it ate at the cartilage and that joint, so I don't have any cartilage in that part of my foot anymore.
Oh no!
So
like right in your big toe or something.
Yeah, right on the base of the big toe. So the bones are just like rubbing on each other. Boy. So when I run, it like pronounces it like a motherfucker.
So your body retired you. Yeah. They're like no more.
Not to mention the plantar fasciitis.
Sure.
And,
yeah. I mean, that's what we're talking about is old people diseases. That we
the
all
king of them right here.
Did you get gout in college while you were running? Because I feel in my head, gout is like what old, really overweight people get after they've eaten McDonald's every meal for the last like 10 years.
Right,
that's
right. That's who should get gout.
Okay,
it's those
great.
people and me. You know, I got gout for the first time.
Here's what I want. I want the military to draft you and for you to be like, I can't. I got gout, and they just like try and call you on your shit. Just completely embarrass you in front of the military.
Oh my god, dude. If I got drafted in the military and they still made me go to the military, I'd be like, well, you have to cut off my foot and replace it with something better, dude. Like, I've had so many problems in my feet, particularly my left foot, which is where I get gout. Okay. I'm like, if some scientist came to me and was like, we'll amputate your foot and give you this, like, we're studying like robot technology with like prosthetics and stuff. We have a really good foot one. I'd be like, anything's better than the one I have right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll take it.
So how did it start with the running? Like,
well, the running was unrelated to gout. I just like I wasn't stretching before I ran and stuff. So my calves were really tight, which, God, I can't remember what it was called, but like because my calves were tight, the whatever tendon at the bottom of my foot was like being pulled like extra hard, and it started like tearing apart.
Oh god.
Like the podiatrist basically described it to me like, you know how when there's a rope and you twist it really tight and there are like little hairs that stick out?
Yeah.
He's like, that's what's happening to the tendon in your foot. And because that was happening, it was pulling on my heel.
Sure.
So my heel got like a bone spur.
Okay.
So it had like a little hook. And then because that part of my foot hurt, I was walking weird. And then I got like tendonitis on the side of my feet.
How much pain were you in while you were running?
So
like,
much.
I'm just going.
Well, the
continuing
beauty of it
go.
is I have body dysmorphia.
Sure.
So it's like I have to keep going.
I'm not going to lie. After my breakup freshman year of college, I did the exact same thing.
It was after a breakup.
Yeah. Freshman year of college, literally the first day, because I gained 45 pounds my freshman year of college.
Awesome.
I couldn't. It was like.
That's impressive.
Honestly, here's what it was. We had a group of like 6 of us, and we couldn't fit in a dorm room. So we just hang out at the cafeteria all day.
Right.
And then it's like, well, why shouldn't I get a cookie and a Mountain Dew every 45 minutes?
You? Yeah.
Why shouldn't I?
You're 18
I'm
years
invincible.
old.
Yeah. And so after that breakup, I like realized like, fuck, I'm fat.
Yeah.
And there are no women at the school either. It was like a 7-to-1 men to woman ratio.
What school?
Michigan Tech.
So it's an
engineering school up in the middle of nowhere.
Good. Yeah. We don't need too many female engineers.
No.
You know? Let them be men, you know?
But it was like, all right, if I want another girlfriend, I need to be like tip-top shape. So the first day after the breakup, I was like, I'm running a 5K every single day.
Whoa,
like,
you went straight to 5K?
Guess who didn't stretch or have any experience running?
My man, dude.
So it's like my knee was exploded for like the next 2 or 3 years.
God,
just
dude.
severe tendonitis. I couldn't walk, couldn't run.
But
I just
brutal.
like kept running on it because I was like, no, I have to get in shape.
I was the same way with my foot. And I was 18, 19, maybe 20. I can't remember exactly how old I was when I got really into the gym. But I was like, I didn't want to admit that I was sad about the breakup because I broke up with her. and stuff.
Right.
So anytime I would feel this like sadness or whatever, I'd just be like, oh, I gotta go to the gym. You know, this is gonna solve all my problems.
Yeah.
You know, and guess what? It didn't.
It didn't solve all of them.
It just gave me physical ailments that I still struggle with to this day.
God, yeah. That's the other reason with the gym is I feel like the gym has almost turned into a religion at this point, where it's like, there are definitely those people that are doing that with running too, where they're like, I need to run 12 miles a day, otherwise I'm gonna die. And you're like, dude, chill. You're gonna be totally for those running clubs. I'm like, no, I'll run to the river and back, but I'm not doing anything for real.
You're just doing like maintenance work at this point. That's what I'm going for. I'm like, I don't need to be. I've done the being ripped thing. I've done the being fat thing. And I'm like, why don't I just try being somewhere in the middle, you know, and that'd be nice.
Oh, that's a real adult attitude, and I'm pretty jealous that you've gotten to that point.
Oh, it's very easy for me, like, here to say that, but when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, you're teetering a little bit on one of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's what we were talking about with the drinking, because I get, and this started in college, I get stomach ulcers, and so
I've had one. So I'm
they're
with you there.
a motherfucker,
the worst, dude.
They are like, you feel in pain, like a sharp pain in your stomach all the time. And the ones that I had in college were like real bad, to the point where like there was blood in my shit.
Really?
And I ended up going to the doctor for that one. He gave me some antibiotics and it cleared up. And I was like, what causes these? Like, I feel like I'm super young. How could I be getting stomach ulcers? He's like, well, drinking and taking anti-inflammatories. And I was like, oh, I do a lot of all that. Oh, also
a lot
coffee
of
and soda.
anti-inflammatories.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, it was like this vicious cycle of like, all right, I'm getting 4 hours of sleep, so I feel like shit. So let me pop a couple ibuprofen, and then I'll drink a bunch of coffee, and then throughout the day I'll have Mountain Dew. But all that's super acidic.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back. I'll feel like shit again, so I'll take another couple ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And then I'll drink, because we're in fucking college.
Right.
And then in the morning I'll feel like shit after no sleep. And then it was just this cycle of like just kicking the shit out of my stomach.
It's like the cycle of violence, just with like killing yourself. I feel you, dude, because I have gout, as we said. And like when I go to the doctor, they like, and high cholesterol. And they're like...
Can your body pick one? You're like,
I know, pick a fucking lane. I'm the only person I know who's had gout. And like, I don't know many other people that the doctor is like, your cholesterol is getting worse. And I'm like, well, I've been taking fish oil, like you said. I think that one's on you.
I thought that was for memory. Well, I thought fish oil was like for old people to remember things.
I'm sure it does some of that too. It's like a magical elixir, but now I think it's just a snake oil.
I think it's a fish oil. But
oh, that's good.
It's a comedy podcast.
Look at us. Not even trying, dude. We're just slinging them. And they were like, your cholesterol's been worse. Have you been taking fish oil? And I'm like, yeah, it's a huge fucking tablet, too. It's like that big. And they're like, just take that every day. And I'm like, I am. They're like, what else are you doing? And it's like, nothing comes to mind. Nothing. And they're like, are you drinking? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not good for me. Yeah, I do that.
What if drinking is part of my career, though? What if I have to? God damn. So what's happening? So why is it just the drinking?
Well, drinking, I'm on medication for it now, so I haven't had it in a while, but I take medication for gout every day. And it's, so even some healthy foods can trigger it in certain people. Like there are certain foods like asparagus that can trigger this reaction in people. But for me, it's mostly drinking, but then it's also if my diet is poor as well. And I wanted to avoid stopping drinking so bad. Like 3 years ago, I went to the doctor when I had it, like one of the last times I had it. And I was like, what if I went vegan? Would that help? And they were like, it can't hurt. So I've started to do this again, but like when I'm at home, I minus eggs, it's like tofu, all that shit. Yeah. And I'm like, well, let's see, like, because I'd rather like not have cheeseburgers at home than not be able to drink with my friends,
right.
you know?
Oh, that's a good point. I was just talking about this with a buddy today. As you get older, I feel like all the rules with food just hit you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just like all this, one day it's just Taco Bell whenever you want, like late night munchies, whatever you've been drinking, you go get something at the bodega. I feel like that was 6 months ago I was able to do that. And now it's like, nah, if I have anything besides a Caesar wrap with no chicken after 10 p.m., I get severe heartburn.
Yeah, your birthday was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like, I literally, that's what I had. I had a wrap with lettuce, tomato, and croutons in it. And if I have anything else in that wrap, it's all night. I have fucking heartburn.
Oh, dude.
And
so heartburn's what gets you?
Didn't used to. This is new. As of like 6 months ago. I'm like, what happened? What happened over those 6 months? It's like I've been healthy for the last year, roughly.
Yeah.
And it's still not getting... I'm still losing the ability to do these things.
It's like you can never do enough with this shit. You know, it's like the older you get, it's like, all right, well, I like have a green smoothie every day. Right. I like try and eat healthier. It's like, yeah, I was basically vegan for a year and I got gout twice within a month. And I was like, well, what the fuck? You know?
All right, let's describe gout in terms of like, how does it actually work? And then what does it feel like? Like, is it flare-ups? Is it one of those that's always there, or does it come back and forth?
Well, it is like a flare-up. I mean, so gout is a uric acid buildup in your joints. And when you're particularly unhealthy, and I guess to some degree genetically prone,
inferior,
like myself. Like, I was at my sister's wedding a couple of years ago, and there was just a point in time where I was talking with my uncle, and we were talking about who gets gout worse. And I'm like, I should not be having...
How old is your uncle?
Like in his 60s. And he was like, I get it worse.
Shouldn't be a conversation.
That's what I'm saying. And he was trying to be like, I get it worse. So it was like, dude, I started getting gout when I was 22. I think I get it worse, okay? And he's told me how many times he's had it. I'm like, rookie numbers, bro.
Oh, so you're just lucky. It's not even like you find out everyone in your family has always had gout. Like everyone in my family has back problems all the time because we're tall. It's like my dad had back surgery in his 20s. I've gotten to the point where, like, if I can make it to 30, I'm winning with not having severe back problems.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's just you and your uncle with gout.
It's on my mom's side of the family for sure. I don't know if my grandpa gets it like that, but it was my mom's brother who I was talking about it with. So definitely, because my dad's side of the family, they're not particularly healthy individuals either, but like they don't get like gout. Like my dad doesn't get gout, and believe me, my dad would if he was like genetically disposed to it.
Okay, So what does it feel like?
So the first time I had it, it was the weekend I graduated college. Like I graduated college like a Thursday. It was like Sunday morning. I went out, college graduation drink weekend is nuts. Like,
sure,
families in town, so you're eating out all the time. You're drinking a lot. And then I woke up at like 6 a.m. and my foot was like inflamed. And all I had on was a top sheet. And like it felt like my foot had like snapped. Like my first thought was like, how'd I break my foot?
Holy shit!
In my sleep,
like the middle of your foot, like
right
the toe,
here,
right on top.
Yeah, this is where it happens, right here,
right on that like toe bone or whatever.
Yeah, so it was like super swollen right here. So I didn't even know what gout was at the time.
Sure.
So it was just like, how'd I break my foot? I was like freaking out. I was supposed to be like moving soon, so I was supposed to be like packing because I was moving to New York. And I had to go to like the doctor, and then I was like, I think I broke my foot. And he was like, I think you have gout. And then I was like, what is that? And then I've been on an odyssey ever since.
So what is it? Because in my mind, I always thought it was like closer to diabetes, where you had it, like you just had it, or you couldn't have it. But it sounds like literally just overnight, your foot just exploded.
Well, I've had it so many times now that if I start to get it, I can like pick up on things I was probably missing. Like I'm like, oh, I can feel it like coming.
That's how I am with the ulcers.
Yeah,
it's
you're
like
like,
I can get very small ones. Like take a week off.
What's the first sign?
It's just the like when I'm hungry, it feels like I'm very hungry. and I can kind of diagnose of like, I shouldn't be feeling this hungry because it's kind of this like aching pain in my stomach.
Oh, sure.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, I just ate like 2 hours ago. It was a good amount of food. Why do I feel? Oh, I know what that is.
Oh,
and then
no.
I have to it's really the like anti-inflammatories that'll get me with the combo of drinking. If I do both, like my cousin was in town a couple of weeks ago, and it was just a party for 4 days straight.
Sure.
And so you feed your, ibuprofen in the morning, drinking in the afternoon, at night, ibuprofen in the morning. You're just like flipping back and forth. That's when it started.
Is that why they explicitly say not to take like painkillers when you're hungover?
No. So there's two types of painkillers. One of them, so like ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory. That's really hard on your stomach. So that's Aleve, that's ibuprofen, that's Advil.
Okay.
Tylenol is the one you're not supposed to take because that's hard on your liver.
Oh.
And so if you take Tylenol and you drink a ton, I think like one Tylenol is the equivalent of 1.5 to 2 drinks. So if you have 10 drinks throughout the night and then you pop 3 or 4 Tylenol before you go to bed, your liver's working like you just had 16 or 17 drinks.
Like in a sip of water, pretty much.
Which can then kill you because you can go into liver failure. It's the drinks and the Tylenol compound on each other, where the anti-inflammatories, they're not good for you, but you're not going to die from it. The worst you can get is stomach problems.
Okay, and hence...
Yeah. And confirmed. You can get those.
You're a living hypothesis.
I know. It's so annoying. I'm still in my 20s.
Dude, I know. That's the fucking worst. It's like I think because I've had this stuff like kind of happen to me in my 20s, all this weird health shit that I shouldn't be getting till at least my 40s.
Yeah.
Like aging doesn't freak me out anymore because I'm just like, I know what it feels like. Like, I've been there. I get it. Cholesterol problems, gout, feet shit, I've experienced all of this in my 20s. So I'm like, the idea of getting older doesn't freak me out because my body's probably already 50. You know what I mean?
I 100% feel that. I was actually working on writing a bit about, because if you talk to an old person like your uncle, they always tell you, getting old, it's terrible, like everything's gonna happen. I'm like, okay, given my state, does your foot just fall off? Do you lose limbs when you get older? Because that's the only thing worse than I could think of that could be happening, because I've already got the ulcers, the left knee doesn't work. What else could be happening to you?
Oh, you're telling me you're not as fast as you were in your 20s? Well, guess what? I'm not fast anyway.
I never was. They don't want, old people don't want us to complain because they're like, no, it gets worse. I'm like, how much worse could it get? And then I'm sure it does. I'm sure they're right. I'm positive.
I guess it must, but I'm like, but we've already experienced some of the shit that people in their 40s are like, oh, this is what getting older is.
Yeah.
You and I have already experienced that. So maybe it'll suck, but we're better prepared for the suck.
Yeah.
That's
true. I also do a lot of this shit to myself too.
It is self-inflicted a lot of times.
I think I have a very high pain tolerance because like the running in college, I was like, my knee hurts, but I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Or like, I got my jaw dislocated a couple weeks ago playing basketball.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Ow.
And I was playing, and the dude I was guarding was trying to, I guess, get around me, and he swung his elbow up, and I was like low. I was crouched down, so it wasn't like he swung it up like 6 feet in the air to like try and get me.
Sure.
It seemed innocent at the time, but all of a sudden I just got popped in my chin.
So were you just like this?
Yeah, that's what so it hurt, and I was like, I'll just finish the game. Like, we had 10 minutes left. We had 10 minutes left on the court time, and I was like, wow, my jaw really hurts. Like, I don't know. It kind of hurts to close, and I felt like that crunch in my ear too. I was like, I guess that's what it feels like to get popped in the jaw. It's never happened to me before. So I finished up the game, and I'm like, man, that fucking hurts, dude. And I'm like trying to chew, but everything still seems to be in place. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, is that how my bite was before?
I love when you hit that point where like you're like, do I normally chew this way? Yeah, I've been
Meanwhile,
there.
I'm like, fucking,
My tongue always hangs out.
Can I normally not swallow? This is and I'm like running up and down the basketball court, and I'm like, wow, this fucking hurts. And so I go get a burrito afterwards. I was like, oh, that's
the
soft.
worst option.
No, I was like, this is soft. I'm not
Okay,
gonna.
fair
I'll
enough,
get something
fair enough.
soft. And then I did realize later it was like a big burrito. And I was like, oh, I can't open my mouth wide enough to chew this.
That's fucking crazy.
So I'm just like sitting here eating this burrito. I was like, wow, this fucking hurts, dude. And
Yeah.
I start looking up like broken jaw, dislocated jaw. What are the symptoms? And they're like, well, you got two options. You can either go to the doctor and they sew your face shut for a month and you can only eat liquid food. And I was like, oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Or they just like leave it.
And
I
it
was
just
like,
puts itself back in.
well, so that it kept hurting. And I was like, well, I don't really know. I don't. It doesn't hurt that bad. It doesn't hurt like I feel like, oh shit, my jaw's in half. Like it's just dangling there. That's not what it felt like. So I was like, well, I'll go to bed. And if in the morning it still hurts like shit, I'll go to the doctor. And so I'll just eat this burrito in pain. And during one of the bites, I felt literally half my face just like pop.
Oh, dude.
And it popped right back into place and immediately felt 20 times better. And I was like, oh, that was dislocated. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what that is.
So it like kind of like.
So
and like,
it went back. The burrito sent my jaw back and it hurt like shit and then felt way better. And from then, like, don't get me wrong, I check it every day in the mirror to make sure that I'm not like lopsided over here.
well, I didn't. If you'd have told me it was still dislocated, I'd been like, damn, you're kind of rocking the look, dude.
So that's but that's my point. I do that with everything. I was like, finish the game. I was like, let me finish this burrito. I'll put it off. And it's just like, the pain. I feel the pain, but I'm like, what am I going to go to the doctor and ruin my next 6 months?
I feel
like,
you, dude.
It's more of a, I think it comes from FOMO more than anything else. I don't want to quit hanging out with people and doing fun shit just because my knee tells me that my leg's about to fall off, you know?
I know the feeling. You're like, I'll tough it out, you know?
Yeah.
What would Jordan do when he had the flu? You know?
Exactly.
You gonna sit this one out? No, he's fucking out there, dude.
That's what I'm saying. And obviously, I'm also competing for championships at the highest level, so I should be doing this shit. Now, this is a pickup game in an elementary school, and I'm like, I gotta do it for the team. Yeah. They need my size. They need my throw the ball.
You just keep saying, this is my flu game. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? You're playing 15-year-olds.
What? Dude, that's the other thing. I'm playing with like 40-year-old dudes, too. I'm the youngest one. They're all in so much pain, and I don't think it helped me. I'm like, oh, if I'm in this much pain, they must be dying.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Like since you and I are kind of on this like launch pad to it, like we're just gonna be in worse pain than everyone else.
Yeah,
when we're older.
But that's just it. I don't know. I'm gonna blame genetics. I don't know. This is
my favorite.
Are you Northern European? Like your family from like England and
stuff.
Yeah. Terrible genes,
dude.
Terrible.
If I found out that I couldn't, if I was infertile, I'd be like, I've had this thought. I'd be like, yeah, I don't think I need to pass this on anyways.
Yeah. It's fine.
I'll adopt.
Yeah. Thank God for the Vikings putting some of their genes into the English gene pool.
I needed it.
We needed it, dude.
Yeah, I would have been dead a long time ago.
How did those people take over the world? Jesus Christ.
Vikings? Have you ever been?
No, the English.
Oh, I was like, Vikings? Have you ever?
No.
I get it.
They took over. No, the Vikings, I understand. It's the English. They're like, this is my theory. I think the English, the like white people are the most anxious people, which is why we ended up colonizing everything.
Yeah,
it's not because we're better in any way. It's because we freaked out about not having enough resources and decided we needed to murder half the planet to get it.
Yeah, to make sure
everyone else was just chilling.
Yeah, like what was India doing before England conquered them? Being perfectly fine on their own. You know?
Enjoying fruits.
Yeah, mangoes and chai tea and shit. They were fucking having a good time, dude. And then we were like,
oh, we totally ruined it for them.
Yeah, of course. Then we were like, you know what sounds awesome? A fruit I don't know exists. We're like, where do we get that?
Oh, God. And I'm sure they all had health problems. Humans were not, this is my other theory, humans were not meant to live past 40.
No, of course not. Like if I was a senior citizen right now, I'd be like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense.
Could you imagine back 1,000 years ago, we would have been considered the wise ones?
That's so funny.
These two idiots. It's like, well, they lived longer, so obviously.
They obviously know more. Oh man,
God.
I love the idea of you and I being like the village elders, like just like we are right now. We're having the same exact conversation, but there is a tribe of people being like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, have you tried not being a bitch about it? Because that's what worked for me at the ripe age of 29. That's how I made it this far.
That's so funny, dude. I mean, we certainly weren't supposed to live as long as we're living.
No, I fully believe I'd be dead. If this were 1,000 years from now, I would have just, because like I broke my collarbone and that needed surgery at one point, and so like, if we didn't have modern medicine, my left arm would be like completely droopy all over the place. Yeah, they'd put you out of your
misery. You'd be on the run from some animal, and they'd be like, all right, like, it was good knowing you, dude.
I'd have a farm, but I can only use one arm for all this shit, so it's taking me 3 times as long, and I can't. People would be like, can't do anything.
Oh, what happened to Corey? He broke, this thing snapped. We're like, well, we have to put him down. It was like, God damn, he was so funny though.
Oh, he was tall, he could get stuff off the top shelves.
What are we gonna do without that?
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
And that's why ladders were invented, because people of your height died.
That's true. Yeah.
And people had to figure out how to get to places higher.
Historically, tall people had a very short run. We were we're like the rock stars of our time.
Yeah.
Very good for a couple of years, and then we're just a big target on the battlefield, you know?
Yeah. Have you there's like when
try hitting Keith Chase with an arrow.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. You can barely see him out there.
It's like
you see me from leagues away.
Yeah, leagues, nice. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
It's like when the British were like colonizing people, they would set up like human zoos of like these people from exotic places.
Oh, that's so horrible.
And that's so dark. They would do it. They would like go to Africa or whatever, and they'd see like the people with like the gauged lips and stuff, and they would like kidnap them and like literally put them on display.
That's terrible.
It's like, where part of Europe are you from? Are you British as well?
Yeah, like north. A lot of British, some like Swedish, Dutch, German. So
you'd be the only Brit in the human zoo.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It'd be like this guy from Manchester. Look how tall he is.
Dude, if I were an alien, I would kidnap every type of person and make like an Earth zoo.
Oh, for sure.
It's like categorize this. Everything we do to animals, it's like different species, all that other stuff. It's, it'd be horrible for humans to do to humans.
Yeah.
As a third party alien, it's just like us looking at the different types of big cats.
Yeah, they're like, look at the way they text. You know, this is crazy. This is what they consider communication.
Yeah,
I love the idea that like aliens would come from wherever they come from, and they have the same system of capitalism that we have here. And they're like, we're gonna get so rich off of that.
Yeah. Oh man, we are off topic. Alien gout. You think they have gout? Is that where we're at?
What if like my gout and your ulcers, if like an alien did come, they were like, oh, they're the chosen ones. Like we're like some like it's like a sign and whatever. Like that we're like some sort of like alien royalty.
The Greeks used to do that. What were the ancient Greeks? They would have the oracles.
Yeah.
They figured out that the oracles, which were just like young women, they would like put in temples and shit, and they would give fortunes and tell commanders whether they're going to win in war. They realized that all those people just had schizophrenia.
Really?
Yeah. They took these schizophrenics and were like, oh, they're talking to God. Fucking get them in that temple.
That's so funny. That's hilarious, dude.
I would have faked it. I totally would have faked it. Yeah.
I'm ascending. He's ascending, guys.
And then the Christians were like, no, that's a witch, brother. You got to burn that one.
A much darker interpretation of mental illness. Rather than being like, worship them.
Yeah.
It's like, kill them.
They're
the reason crops aren't growing.
Oh, man. God damn it. All right, what else you got? What other old person ailments are you working with over here?
Well, gout's certainly the big one. I have high cholesterol.
Yeah. So what do you do for that?
I upped my fiber.
Upped your fiber, great.
I'm like a 28-year-old, and I like count how many grams of fiber I consume a day because it's supposed to be good for cholesterol. And I listened to a podcast where an old man said that eating tofu lowered his cholesterol. So I was like, I'll do that again too.
Is it all working?
I'll find out next time I go to the doctor.
Oh, okay. I mean, you don't look like you have high cholesterol.
Brother.
What is the cause of that? Is it genetic again, or was it just like...
I think it's genetic, but I also think it's lifestyle choices.
How unhealthy were you? Like, how much were you... Because this is what throws me off. Like, I've got friends that completely healthy, no problems at all, or like famously Bert Kreischer, the comedian. Yeah. It's just like, he drinks like a fifth a day, and he doesn't like have any limit, nothing. He's just gene. He calls it the Mickey Mantle gene. But then I drink twice a week, and all of a sudden I'm like over here dying.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Which boat are you in? Okay.
Compared to like people I surround myself with, I'm at least on par.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I turn down drinks sometimes. I know plenty of people that don't. When I'm like, you
get
a drink ticket.
I do that.
Well, all right.
I'm not willing to go that far, but I'm not Bert Kreischer, you know? Like, I'll take a couple days off a week for sure, and like, if I'm hanging at a show, I might have a couple, but I'm not like, drinking.
We're not getting plastered on a Tuesday type deal.
No, but that's the other thing where I'm like, maybe these genes are not meant to be passed down. Where I'm like, I have all this health shit, and I'm like, I kind of don't think I'm that unhealthy. You know, my body's just like degrading before my eyes. You know, like I've heard about these tests that people take that like. I'm 28, right? Mm-hmm. But there's these tests where they run all these tests on your body, and they tell you how old you are physically.
Oh boy!
If I had to guess, I always say 42. That's 42? My number.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough. Mentally, what? 28? Physically 20 or 42?
Yeah.
God damn. I do want to take those because they have those high-end tests for professional athletes where there's a basketball player named Michael Porter Jr. Who, do you watch basketball, NBA at all?
Yes.
Yeah. He... Unbelievable skill set. Super tall. He's got great handle. He should be just a top 2 pick when he came out of college. They ran him through those tests, and it turns out he had the worst. They called it the worst physical they've ever seen from a professional athlete.
Really?
Like, his body is just decaying, and he's hurt all the time. Yeah. So he went like number 20 in the draft.
He went to Denver, right?
Yeah, everyone was thinking, oh, I can't take this guy because he's made of glass.
Yeah.
I want to know what the correlation is, because I'm not even close to a professional athlete. I don't have the hand-eye coordination. I don't have the skills. I don't have the flexibility, nothing. How can this dude, who's at the top of the world in something, also have all these health problems, but then on top of it, if he were just a normal person, would he be considered healthy, or do you think he would also have all these health problems?
Oh, man.
Is he getting hurt all the time because he's playing basketball, or is he just made of glass like I am?
There's probably, like, I mean, I don't think 40-year-old men, I know he wasn't, but 40-year-old men aren't supposed to play sport at that high of a level.
Sure.
You know?
Oh, he's only like 26.
Right. I mean, that would have been me if I was going through that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like gifted in every possible way genetically, except that he is made of glass.
Right.
Like, that's everything else. It's like amazing. It's like God or whatever creator did it. They like meant to put like that gene in him, but they put it in someone else by accident. So there's like some fat person in fucking Missouri.
Smokes 2 packs a day.
And he's never gonna die.
No, he's been run over by the tractor 3 times. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know, nothing hurts.
Yeah, he's gonna live forever. Just because whoever made us fucked up.
I love that idea. God's like, oh shit, I fucked that one up. My bad, dude. He's looking at Michael Porter. My bad.
Yeah,
man.
he's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And they're like, oh fuck, we gave him the NBA thing. God damn it.
He's got some explaining to do if that's me.
or if Buddhism is true, he must have done some fucked up in his last life.
Right.
He must have fucked someone over, and they're like, we're gonna make you so good at basketball, but you'll never realize your potential. That's how awful you were in last life.
Brutal. That'd be tough. Does that mean I fucked up?
No, no.
In a previous life? Oh, no. Oh, we're spiraling.
No. I don't think so. You got a pretty good setup over here.
My body, dude. My body.
Or we were both like the peak of physicality in our past lives. And then in this one, they were like, all right, we're going to give them the personality.
Yeah.
But physically, they got some shit to figure out.
Okay. That's legit. Yeah, I'm to the point where, like, because I have a desk job, if I'm on a call with my boss too long, I'll be like, hey, I got to get up and take a lap around my apartment.
Your back starts to hurt and stuff?
It's just, it will if I don't do it.
Oh, sure.
But she can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
She's like a 5'4" tiny little Greek woman who's just never had any pain in her life. It's like super healthy. Everything just works for her. And I'm like, yeah, if I don't get up every hour and a half, my back will seize up and I'll have to do work from the floor. And it's like, she can't comprehend it at all.
Would you rather be that short but not have any back problems, or be as tall as you are?
That's a good question. Am I a man or a woman?
You're you. Everything's the same.
Man. Well, 5'4" is average for a woman. Am I 5'4" or am I like 5'10", which is average for a guy?
All right, let's say you're the average height for a man.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
I'll take that, but I will not take being 5'4".
Yeah. 5'4" is a...
That's a tough life.
Yeah.
I think I would rather be in pain physically than socially.
Yeah. You like being able to see concerts. You know? You're getting on someone's shoulders.
Getting on my girlfriend's shoulders.
Yeah, totally. Dude, that's what's so, like, have you ever seen, like, just a normal height girl at a concert? It's like, what do you see at a show? Like,
I don't know.
Are you just like watching? You just see the backs of people's heads, and you're like, God, I love live music.
Maybe this is why dance music has gotten big, is because you don't need to see anything.
Yeah.
It's like you go to, I don't know if you've ever been to like an electronic concert.
I have. I've been to a few.
Yeah. All the, like, everyone's just kind of dancing in a circle. They're not watching. They're not looking at the stage. They're just kind of doing their own fucking thing. Maybe
you're kind of in your own
they're
world.
Like, I can't see shit anyway. Why would I go to Taylor Swift?
Might as well just go see some DJ. Who looks like every other DJ.
The sweatiest DJ, yeah. Why are you sweating? What are you doing up there?
You're standing behind the booth. You are so wet. How are you not damaging your equipment?
Concert's over. Dripped into the machine.
Oh, no. I dripped into the synth again.
That is... All right, so we've been complaining for 45 minutes. I do want to... Let's talk about some shit I'm glad I don't have.
Uh-huh.
I don't naturally smell super
Me neither,
bad.
yeah.
That is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see people out there that just like, dude, they have to wear so much deodorant. After like an hour, that's off.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I'm glad I don't have that.
What kind of deodorant do you use? Are you an antiperspirant man?
No.
Oh, I have to go antiperspirant.
Okay.
But it does the
Is that
trick.
for the liquid or the smell?
The sweat.
Okay. Yeah. At least it's not. But the smell is what'll get you. Right?
Yeah. I just also like I'll sweat a little bit anyways, but like if I don't do antiperspirant, it's like you'd notice. You know. I also like that this is what we're doing now. Like focus on the positive.
I'm trying to focus on it'll help your gout. You gotta stay positive.
I think I have good teeth. I've been told I have good teeth
yeah,
by
there
people.
You go. Yeah. Apparently my jaw snaps back into place pretty quickly.
Want to test it again?
No. I got good heights. I'll take that. What else do I have to be?
Yeah, height's cool. Height. That's
I don't know,
sweet.
man.
I'm slightly above average height. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I got that going for
me. What are you? 5'11"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some might say 6 feet, but
okay. Gotcha. Are some your Hinge profile?
Yeah. Some might say 6 feet. Me when I lie on the internet.
It is. Yeah. It is more fun to complain, though.
It is. Yeah. Like now I'm trying to like focus on the things I like about myself.
It's like, yeah, I know I can't do it. It's like, well, I sleep okay, but then I wake up and my neck hurts, and it's like,
sometimes I wake up with a headache, and I'm like, oh damn, I slept on my neck funny.
For 6 months, I need a hard pillow, and then eventually that'll start to hurt me, so I have to go back to a soft pillow.
Are you a hard pillow guy?
Well, I was, and then I tried a soft pillow, and I woke up feeling better. I was like, maybe I'm a soft pillow guy.
Yeah.
Now the soft pillow's starting to hurt my neck, and it's like, god damn it.
You know they make like medium pillows. Like I exist in the middle, It's not like the extremes.
No, I'm
it's a scale.
I'm convinced that whatever that I just need to keep my body on its toes.
Yeah.
If I do something for too long, then it'll figure it out and hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I can go medium pillow and then I'll never be able to do any pillow again.
Oh, I see. Do you like camping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to when I could sleep on the ground and it didn't affect
and it not
me.
Like ruin you.
Yeah. That is part of it. Like, but I like camping because it kind of reminds me how good of a life it is to not be camping.
Yeah,
the first night in bed after camping, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad we invented beds,
Right, yeah. I used to have a bit about it where it was like, we invented like pillows before we invented fire. That's how much camping sucks, dude. Because like when I was in high school, I loved camping. Like I'd go with my friends like a couple times a year. And then I went camping like a year and a half ago. It was like, oh, I just liked this because we could drink here and not get in trouble.
Oh,
it wasn't like I necessarily enjoyed like sleeping on the ground and stuff. It was like also you drink so much you fall asleep that way, and the ground is a little more tolerable.
Right. Right. You get spring into action. I used to go to for 3 years in a row, I went to a music festival.
Which one?
Camping, Electric Forest.
Oh, nice. I was a Bonnaroo man. So,
okay.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though. It's like, let me go to bed at 4, just blackout drunk. Wake up at 8 the next day because your tent is scorching hot. Oh, you're sweating balls. You can't breathe, but you're like, just 3 more days of this. And you somehow make it.
Yeah.
Like you're dead by the end of it, but you somehow make it. And I look at that now and I'm like, God damn, what would even happen to me?
I literally can't fathom it because I think about Bonnaroo. It's like in the middle of Tennessee. Yeah. It still is. But we'd go to bed whenever we'd go to bed, and then you wake up not because your body is like it's time to wake up, but because you're baking in your tent. And you're like I have flashbacks to that feeling, and I'm like, I could never do that again. Like
I specifically remember my tent had a little air hole at the base of it. It was just like a screened in hole. And I remember at 7 a.m, rolling over and putting my face up to the hole so I could breathe colder air because my tent was so hot and sweaty because it was raining too. So it was rainy, it was humid, but it was hot at the same time, 90 and raining. I was suffocating.
That is the worst feeling in the world. Being in a tent when it's raining and you're like, this is the only thing protecting me from this. You're like, this is a disaster.
And I want to go back.
Really?
I want to go to the festival because I remember how much fun it was.
Yeah.
Which it is fun. And when at night, when you're like partying it up, you're running through the forest,
for sure.
It's awesome. And then I think about that. I'm like, man, would I pay $900 to deal with that?
No.
If someone gave me $900 to just deal with that, I think I'd say no.
I'd be like, I do like the glamping thing, you
I
know,
love
like
glamping.
there was like an RV or some shit. Like, can I shower? Is there air conditioning?
Yeah.
Sure. If I had
Pop-up
to do...
campers make sense as you get older.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit. You get like a little cushion.
I used to be like, God, my parents are so lame. They don't like camping and stuff. And then now I'm like who I am as a 28-year-old, and I'm like, how the fuck did I think I liked that?
I think I did like it.
I think I did too.
Because when I was 21, we would go up and go camping, and we just like very northern tip of Michigan. So, and it was like 75 during the day. It was fucking beautiful, right on Lake Superior. We drive up. There's like a bald eagle circling. We're like, this is fucking America. We brought a bunch of guns to go shoot at trees and shit.
Right.
And we were hammock camping and. Hammock.
Whoa.
So all we did was just like hook up some hammocks to the trees. And that night, we're so stupid. That night, it got down to like 40 degrees. So we got no sleep, and you're suspended in the air. The ground isn't keeping you warm.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a sleeping bag. I just brought a really thick blanket.
Oh my God.
So my top half was warm, and my bottom half was frozen solid. Like my ass was frozen.
Like you're trying to like get in the fetal position
Yes,
so you can
I'm
get
trying
everything
to,
in
trying
the
to wrap
blanket.
myself, but I'm in a hammock, so it's like flipping me around the entire time. I swear to God, we're leaving that, and we're like, should do that again soon sometime. That was so fun, dude. I just feel so in tune with nature.
Yeah. I really feel connected to my ancestors. I now know what it feels like to think I might die of hypothermia.
Well, it's just, I think it's an attitude thing. It's like I wasn't sick of it yet, because even when it was happening, I was like, man, this sucks, but at least camping's fun.
Camping is fun until you sleep, dude. Like, yeah, I like being in nature and shit. You know, I like looking at trees and seeing mountains and all that shit. I lived in Colorado for a couple years.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like sleeping on the ground. I once in Colorado, we went camping, and then we went to hike a 14er, which is like mountains of 14,000 feet above elevation. And we camped, and then we did that shit. It was the worst day of my life. I was like, oh, I don't even like hiking anymore.
How do those old dudes do it? Because you see those old men that hike Everest. Mm-hmm. How? That's got to be genetics, right? That's got to be the same difference between like me and LeBron.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I can do in my lifestyle that would make me that person.
Or they just got so pissed at their body. It's like, I'm going to spite you. I'm going to spite my physical being.
That is what Dan Lamore does. Dan Lamore, he's been on this podcast about losing weight. In that episode, he talked about, I was like, how did you start training? Because he's doing ultra marathons now, which is like 100 miles.
That's so crazy,
unbelievable. Dude. How did you start training for that? He goes, I just started running. I was, okay, so how far would you? I don't know, till it hurt. And then I keep going for another 4 or 5 miles.
Oh my God.
It's like, I just get hurt or I just get high, and then I would run until I physically couldn't anymore. Just from the start. And I was like, I kind of got that because of what we were talking about that I did in college. Yeah. But I stopped as soon as that said 3.2 miles. I was done. He started doing like 15 miles a clip.
Dude, yeah, I don't have that in me. I have the ability to push through pain to a degree until I get to the preset destination, which like 3.2 for you, whatever it was for me at the time. It was like, all right, I did what I set out to do.
Also, he's ended up in the hospital 3 times from running. So it's like, I can't, like, I'm looking at him going, okay, that's impressive. You can run 100 miles, but like, can you do it 3 times in a row without ending up almost dead? Because I think that's the key. I think.
I was talking to someone who ran like the New York City Marathon, and they were saying like, everyone's on so much adrenaline before it starts that the second it starts and they start running, there's just people just shitting themselves. Like over the Maranzano Bridge, because it starts there. People are just like shitting themselves on the bridge, and then they continue to run.
I hope they're running over cars. It's like there's cars going under them. Just shit. It's like the Dave Matthews bus dropping shit on that tour boat.
River.
In the Chicago River.
That's so fucking funny, dude. Can you imagine? Like, people hate Dave Matthews enough as is. Like, oh yeah, and he dumped his tour band's shit into the Chicago River.
Oh man! All right, we got like 5 minutes left. What are we gonna end on?
Well, we've kind of talked about nothing and everything simultaneously. It's kind of the best place to be.
Some of these episodes, the people who listen to this will know. Some of these episodes are interviews. Some of them are just fucking around. Some of them are conversational, and I don't know.
So, have you ever picked the topic on the podcast?
I've done a couple solo ones.
Okay, what have you done for those?
I did one on, I titled it The New Gilded Age, which this was like 3 years ago, something like that. It was all about how our current economic system only rewards short-term growth for these companies. And I was picking on Ticketmaster, who just, like, they did it again in the fucking pandemic, is they just brought in as much fucking money as possible, bought all the arenas. Like, they own every single arena in the United States. They're way overspending. And then when the pandemic hit, they needed a bailout. But it's like, well, and then they got the bailout.
Of course they got
which is
it
bullshit
too.
Because they way overspent. But they owned so much of the market that the government was like, all right, well, you own so much that, like, we have to bail you out now.
Yeah.
Nobody went to jail. Nobody got penalized for it. None of that. So essentially, it's about our economic system. So if you're into that, listen to that episode. I think it was like episode 23 or something like that. And then I did a two-parter because I worked on the Clinton campaign in 2016.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. There's a lot of stories with thanks for helping me plug my own pod. There was a lot of stories, like one of my coworkers got shot at the end.
Are you serious?
We had bomb threats in our office. There was
Where were you working out of?
Toledo, Ohio.
Oh wow. So they just kind of assigned you somewhere.
Spicy. Yeah. Well, I grew up in Michigan, so it was kind of like I knew I was going to Ohio because I got the job through a friend that was already working in Ohio.
Important battleground state too. I bet that shit was intense.
Not anymore. It was.
they finally started getting it right.
Chris Wider blames me personally for Ohio being Republican now. So there was a lot of wild stories, a lot of hate crimes, bomb threats, people getting shot. I got threatened with multiple guns. It was a good time. That was a wild 3 months.
All right, you want to pick another topic that we can discuss that you're kind of an expert on, and we can finish up?
You're gonna host it? Man, I don't. Oh, do I have one right now? What have I been going on about lately? My body hurting. This was a good honestly, this is a good one. The whole jaw thing really put it, because I'm still thinking about it. Every time I close my mouth, I'm like, is that how my teeth are supposed to sit? It's been like 3 weeks.
I so love when you like are questioning whether or not you're like injured or stuff. Not like so love it, but I just find it so funny where you're like, yeah, my mouth has always been crooked.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm doing that filter on TikTok. Have you ever done that where it like flips your face around so you could see how lopsided your face is?
No.
All right. It is horrible for your self-esteem.
Sure,
because it hits it right in the center. So you're supposed to put it right on your nose, and then it flips back and forth. And it shows you exactly like how
asymmetrical your shit is.
Or yes, how symmetrical your face is. And so like celebrities have perfect, like,
of course,
Doja Cat is just like a mirror image. It's, where like most people just look like fucking the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And that's
so funny.
It's so dry. It's so bad for your self-esteem. Even if you're a good looking person, it's just the little bit of lopsided, and you're like, oh, I'm so ugly.
So do you think
like Hinge makes so much sense now?
Because I do think about that sometimes, where I'm like, what like makes someone more attractive than like other people? Because when you see like a hot girl, you're like, that's a hot girl.
Yeah.
But then you see like someone who's less attractive, and you're like, on a level I understand they're less attractive, but I can't explain why. So you think it's like symmetry?
I think there's two parts of it. I think it's humans, our read on like how easy is their life going to be in our society. So I think that's how we measure attractiveness of celebrities, or like, because you can tell when you're walking around, if you see a celebrity, you could tell they're a celebrity. They have like an aura to them.
That's true.
Even when you don't know exactly who they are, you're just kind of like, you're somebody.
You have something about you.
Yeah, I know you're somebody. And it's just looking at that person and going, oh, I bet you have an easy time in this society, given whatever our society is. So like if the apocalypse happens, people who are fucking jacked, like a bunch of tattoos, look like they could survive.
Thanks, man.
People like Ballew.
Of course,
that would be considered attractive. Just like in the Middle Ages, really large women were considered super beautiful, because it meant that they could have a ton of children. They were less likely to die. Where and then now that's not the case. So that changes. I think the other factor is familiarity. So like, do you have are they kind of similar to you?
Are you saying like Freudian?
Not Freudian, but just like, have you noticed how people from certain areas of the world generally tend to get together? So like people from whose ancestry is from England, like they're generally buddies. They get along, similar sense of humor. Like Jewish people generally marry Jewish people, Indian people generally marry Indian people. It's a level of familiarity that you're used to because of like what you grew up with your family, your sense of humor. That stuff gets passed down. So I think it's a combo of both of those. So it's something you feel comfortable with. Where if someone has a wildly different culture than you, sometimes that could be really attractive at first, but if they don't get your sense of humor, it's never going to work long term.
Sure.
I don't know. Does that make sense? That was
was
my kind of an expert topic for the last 5 minutes.
You explained
attractiveness, attraction.
Yeah. That is fucking weird to think about though. Like who you're attracted to and why. Like, do you like buy into like Freudian psychology and shit?
Just for the reason of familiarity. It's like, I think if you spend a lot of time with your family members, and that's just, it's the same thing. Like if you grew up with big dogs, you're going to want a big dog.
Sure.
If you grew up with a ton of women around you that all have certain features, that's probably what you're going to be attracted to, because that's what you're used to. So in a sense, I don't think it's you want to fuck your mom.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. I think it's less so like you want to have sex with your mom, but when someone like reminds you of your mom, there is that like...
Feels comfortable.
Yeah. Even the toxic parts of that person.
That is true, yeah.
Like my mom is very sweet and I love my mom, but I do have this like... I do catch myself being like, who, like girls that I see that look attractive, one of my first thoughts is, oh, she looks like she'd be mean to me. And that makes her more attractive to me for like a little bit.
I don't know. Is your mom mean? Was she mean to you?
My mom was very
nice?
Sweet.
Oh, so maybe it's the other way.
I think that was more like people I've been in relationships with during formative years were that way, and there's like that level of like Freudian kind of thing almost.
It could flip too, right? You're like if
anti.
You feel well, it's like, wow, I feel like when if someone grew up in an abusive family, they can kind of go one direction or the other. They're either going to try their damnedest to not be abusive and be as nice as possible, or they're going to end up abusing. And it's the reaction. You either become your parents or you try super hard to not be. So maybe that's what it is. You're like, no, that doesn't mesh with me. The super nice, you see all the flaws in the super nice. You're like, nah, mean's the right way to go. And then if you marry someone mean, your kids would be like, no, nice is the way to go. It's just flip-flops back and forth.
And I think there's a lot of, it's maybe less so like how your mom relates to you, but how like your mom relates to your dad and that kind of Freudian thing. Like you almost are on a level you're like, this is what a relationship is.
Sure.
The way they interact. So when you see someone that reminds you like, oh, they'd be this person in a relationship.
Right.
They'd be how my mom is with my dad.
Yeah.
And that's
terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
We're kidding. Bo's mom. This is just jokes on this podcast.
No, I wasn't. I was saying that abstractly, Mom. I was. I was saying that abstractly, but like you see,
they can't take it. If we were the village elders and they heard this podcast, there's no way they could take us seriously. All right, we're at an hour. Where can people find you? We're getting out. No, it's a hard hour stop. That is a rule of this podcast.
No, I know.
130 episodes. We stop at an hour.
130 episodes?
I think it's 128.
Wow, that's awesome. Can't believe it took you this long, you fucking asshole. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, where can people find you? Where's Instagram, shows? What are you doing?
I'm on Instagram at Ballew. BOBOBALLEW, and that's B as in Ballew.
That's you got shows, places. You don't.
I'm
know
doing your show on Thursday.
This one's gonna come out after that show.
Ah, okay. Well, you just missed me.
Yeah.
It was a great show. We had a great time.
Yeah, right.
Remember how fun it was?
It was so fun.
I killed so hard.
Honestly, yep. Some woman died of laughter in the audience. Straight up had a stroke.
It was awesome.
Follow me at Corey T Comedy on all social media, and if you're in New York, come check out Ope, a comedy show every single week at Ferns in the East Village. Bo is on it 2 days after this podcast was recorded, but way before it comes out.
Yeah.
So
we're in the backlog, baby.
But here's what we'll do: if you like this episode, you're coming to a show and you want to see Bo on the show, hit me up on Instagram. Tell me what show you're coming to, and we'll get Bo on that week.
I'd like to meet the person that heard this conversation and said, I need to hear what that guy has to say on stage.
So much gout in that man. He's riddled with gout. You're now the gout comedian.
Please no.
You have a new brand, Bo. You have a brand. All right, let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, that was fun, man.